Welcome back to another episode of Unpacking Life with the box, Ricky, and the basket, Vanessa.
I need a basket. Buy me a prop that I
can
just...
need to hang one up behind you.
Yeah.
And just go like this.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be talking about something that Vanessa loves to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I know what I'm doing for the rest of my life because of it. So go ahead and take it away, my love.
We're going to talk about planning. Planning everything, like personally, financially, in business, all the things.
I will admit
why we do it.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's no guessing.
But he does give me a hard time along the way.
Absolutely. I have to.
We talk a lot about the business part, so we'll probably leave it for the end. But like what I want to talk about is like how we plan, like our family planning, which does not mean like we're going to add more kids, but it's like
God, no.
Planning things for our...
Vanessa's drunk again.
I'm not. Stop it.
She's intoxicated soberly.
I just sometimes have a hard time with words. Stop bullying me for it. So
here we go.
Every year, I feel like at the end of the year, especially, I love to sit down and plan with everybody. So even with the kids. So like we'll sit down and we'll talk about like all the trips we took, what we liked, what we didn't like, what trips we want to take next year, and then we write it all down. It's not that hard.
It's so much fun.
And it is. I mean,
I just said it's so much fun.
Yeah. So we look at... I'm going to kick you off this episode and do it with...
We took a poll last episode.
With another mom that
and I think
understands.
Everybody voted you off the island.
So we look at things like how much quality time were we spending? Did we Did we stick to our pizza night every Friday? Did we do our game night every Sunday? Like all these things we look at as just examples. And how can we improve as a family and how can we do better personally? Like Dion, for example, he was in martial arts and basketball and then other stuff. And like you have to focus your attention on one thing. You only have so much time when you come home from school. Yeah. And then, the kids will tell us, they want to take up another hobby. They want to do this more, this less. So we just talk about it as a family. And then quarterly, I try to do the same thing. Because if you wait a whole year to see if you're doing all those things and how those are working.
You're wasting time.
You just have to reevaluate. So, that's really...
Listen, coming from a family with no structure, I appreciate it. Took me...
Finally, you said something nice.
9 years to get used to, but I appreciate
9 years.
it.
We've been together for 11.
And I appreciate it. And I love you for it. And it keeps our family together and the Marquez train moving along the tracks.
I mean, there's several little detours that we take.
That's fun.
But I think it's important, too, for the kids that we sit down and we have these family meetings because it's instilling in them that, like, you should plan for the future. You should have an idea of what you want to do. You should put in the time to work on the things that you want to accomplish.
And it makes them think about what they've been doing and, like, actually give creative feedback of what they like, what they don't like. And it'll help them out in the future for sure. Yeah.
So part of that kind of is self-development or self-care that we reevaluate too. Mostly us two. And then Dion is 14. So we try to like talk to him about those things more. But for us, like, you know, if I planned on going to jiu-jitsu 3 times a week and I've only been going 1 time a week, like what can I change Or what can I do to make it there more often because it's an important hobby to me? Yeah. Or it's not an important hobby to me anymore. What can I subtract and then add that helps me or makes me feel fulfilled or happy or whatever? Like for you, it's golfing. So what can you do that will make you happy? Is probably like a golf trip with your guys, friends. Yeah. Taking more lessons. Show houses all day. That Thursday. Would be lying, and that would be a bad category in family planning.
No, it's good.
So we work on that, skills and knowledge gaps that we think we have maybe in the business or personally. Like Aubrey decided in October we're going to Germany.
Aubrey decided?
As a family, we decided and we booked going to Germany in October. Yeah. And Aubrey decided that she wants to learn a new skill. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't brought up at the family meeting, obviously. It just came out of the blue. But because we have like open dialogue with them and we encourage them to
try new activities,
try new things and be like communicate with us. Yeah. She said, "Hey, can you help me like download something or where I can learn more German?" Because I failed her as a mother and didn't teach her all the German that she should know by now. So that now when we go to the relatives, she can't speak German to them, but I don't think she knows that they all speak English. But I'm just going to let her believe that they are not going to understand her.
She was like 3 years old last time we went.
Yeah. She didn't care who understood her because she was the boss and she was doing whatever she wanted.
Chasing chickens and
health and wellness routines we look at. So have we been eating like crap? Eating out too much?
Yes.
Not planning our meals like we said we would?
Yes.
I feel like if monthly and quarterly you look at those things and you reevaluate them, then a year doesn't go by and you're like, oh, what happened?
Right. Why am I still 400 pounds?
Yeah. So terrible.
I know.
What else do you think as far as the kids? Trips is a big thing because we have a busy schedule. So it's like, when are the kids out of school? When is this going on? When are we most busiest with clients?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So, and it just recently changed again for us just because before when I was with the PD, my days off would change every quarter. Mm-hmm. And so we would have to plan the activities around my schedule, around Vanessa's schedule, where she wouldn't be burned out taking the kids to all their activities.
Yeah.
Because I worked evenings, and most of their activities are in the evening or like late afternoon. And so now that it's freed up the last few months, we've been able to kind of schedule their activities most of the time, as long as we're not working or doing something that day.
Yeah.
But before it was hard to like do Roman's like T-ball in the morning because I was sleeping or in the evening because I was like, I could hang out for like 20 minutes and then I had to go to work.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to get like our bearings as far as the kids' activities. And then I just left the PD in March, which a month and a half later they were out of school. So it's been summertime. So this is going to be like the first school year where we'll have them going to school full time and then their activities after, where we're both free or semi-free, depending on our schedule too. But just trying to get used to that and trying to plan better now that we have the freedom to do so. But on the other hand, it was kind of nice because like we knew what my schedule was going to be for the whole year.
And now we're both self-employed.
And now we're both self-employed, and it's kind of like hit or miss every week.
Yeah.
Like now when I go to like doctor's appointments and stuff, they're like, what days work for you? Before I'd be like, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday works anytime because those are my days off. Yeah. And now I'm like, it's kind of hit or miss every week. So
I hate when they do that because I'm like, just tell me what you have next. Yeah. And I can tell you if it works that day or not because it changes every day.
But if I have like the doctor's appointment on that day, then I'm like, all right, now I know not to schedule anything. So,
but like even with our hobbies, I feel like this last quarter when we're doing our reevaluation of everything, I had like the most intentions to go like to the gym, to True, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and I go Saturdays. But then on Mondays and Thursdays, it's not working out for me. because we have so much to do, or we're doing fun stuff with the kids. Yeah. And then when that 6 o'clock comes around, or that 7 o'clock, dead tired. It's like making dinner, prepping for the next day, catching up on emails or we're out showing houses that it's been like, it's not working. Mm-hmm. So I text Johnny and Ro, like, can I do privates with Ro to see, like, during the day when I know I will be more committed and it'll be much easier for me to get there, less, like, people want to see houses in the evenings and afternoons. So, like, a lot of times by that time, even if I can cut it off and make it there by 7 or 6, it usually doesn't happen, or I'm dead. Yeah. So, like, just reevaluating that and, like, what is important to me? Is it important to me or not? Like, can I give myself room to, like, not show up? Right. Is it the end of the world? Or is it that important to me that it's me missing it is making me feel bad? Yeah. So, and that's, I think, what is the important part of it. Yeah, that's a balance for sure. Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of a weird time right now, too, with the summer, like you said. Like, we're doing so many things during the day with the kids that once it's time for our activities in the evening, we're like, I just want to sit down and watch something, or I just want to eat dinner.
Or eat dinner, make dinner.
Yeah, eat dinner.
Not eat out again.
Yeah, not have to order something in. Mm-hmm. But, no, it's a balance. We're constantly reevaluating our schedules and stuff and trying to see what else we can take away or add in.
Yeah. I think that's important, just to be flexible. I say that all the time, but it is because you just stay so stuck to, well, I had a schedule that I would get up at 6 o'clock and at 7 o'clock I would work out, and then I would do this and then I would do this. Yeah. Life happens. If you get derailed and don't allow yourself to be flexible, you're just going to give up. Right. So just allow yourself flexibility and, like, think about what you're doing. How could you rearrange things to make it work better for you?
And Vanessa and I, we have a shared calendar to our phone. So, I mean, anything I add to it, she sees it eventually. Sometimes it doesn't pop up right away.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's weird. But, so yeah, that's, like, what's been helpful for us. Just because when I go to an appointment or something, or I'm trying to schedule something with my buddies, I can look at that day and I'm like, oh, Vanessa's going to be gone. Like, I don't have anybody to watch the kids. So I can't do it that day. And vice versa. Like, you can do the same as well.
Or I've seen, like, I'm trying to schedule something and you already have something on the calendar and I want to schedule something around the same time. Yeah. The kids don't have school that day, for example. Then I reach out to a babysitter, like, can you watch the kids this day? And then I can schedule my stuff. So it's, like, very seamless. Yeah. I think everybody should have, like, whether you have kids or not, you should have a shared calendar. Yeah. Like, it's a no-brainer. And even if, you, like, as a person, like, say you're single, you don't have a boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, like, everything should go in a calendar. You should check it, like, at least once a day.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was in the Army, I was young, like 18 to 21.
We didn't have no calendar.
Yeah, I didn't have a calendar.
How did we remember to, like, show up to things, like appointments and stuff?
I would just sleep all day.
But when you had appointments, like doctor appointments,
I was young. I didn't have to go to the doctor. I think when I was in the Army, I went to the doctor, like, once. And it was when I got bit by that brown recluse on my ankle.
Yeah, but when you had a doctor's appointment, how did you remember to go?
Oh, the Army reminds you. Because if you miss an appointment in the Army, it's like freaking World War III.
I used to. I'm, like, trying to dig way back into my memory bank. But I know that I didn't always write stuff down or save everything in my calendar on the phone. Yeah. And I'm just, like, trying to figure out how I actually showed up to things on time. I don't know. Or, like, didn't forget about them. I probably did forget about them. Or something. And when I first started in real estate many, many years ago, I didn't use my phone calendar. I would write stuff down, and then I would be somewhere and I didn't have the calendar with me, but I had my phone. Or there were a couple times where I didn't write it down anywhere. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'll remember. And I didn't. Yeah. And then I missed them. And then after that, everything. I mean, even, like, I have a note in the calendar to water Aubrey's plants with a reminder. So If it's not in the calendar, it's not happening.
And even when it is in the calendar, sometimes we forget. Like Aubrey's dentist appointment.
Yeah, it's like 12:05. The appointment was at 12. We remembered at 12:05.
Yeah,
because we didn't have a reminder.
No, well, it was in the calendar.
Without
I think
a
it was
reminder.
just and I just happened to look at the calendar to see what we were doing Thursday because I'm going golfing, and I just happened to see. I was like, Aubrey dentist today at 12. I was like, oh, crap. I was like, whoops. And then Vanessa came in clutch, called the dentist with some BS lie.
White lie. I said we got held up at our last appointment. Yeah. The last appointment being sitting in our house, not doing anything. But it was super quick. They let us. Yeah. They just did the little scan and we left. But yeah, just planning and be flexible. Really, with everything that we reevaluate, like hobbies, self-care, mental health, health in general, meal planning, like everything. Just be flexible and reevaluate.
You know what I think some people do?
What?
They have calendars like hanging on their fridge and stuff, and they just write stuff in.
But then think about it. When do you make your next appointment? When you're at the doctor?
No, I know. I get it. I understand that.
The calendar, like we have one. I don't use it that much, but the reason I have the one on the fridge is when I'm like filling up my water, I can get like a glance of the month and like, okay.
Do you have stuff written down?
Yeah. I wrote on there a few things today, actually. Because it's like it's blank.
You knew we were going to be talking about this?
Nope.
You know I was going to ask you.
What else? Obviously, before we get to business, what we reevaluate, which we'll do really quick because I feel like we've covered it in other episodes, is one of my favorite things.
Budgeting.
Budgets and our investments. So, obviously, our budget gets tracked weekly, if not daily. Usually we're over, and that's fine.
Most of the time, daily.
I have a lot of buffers, so I build them in so I don't feel bad about myself or our spending. But, you know, we have like a year view of the budget, and then we have the next year and the year after and the year after that. Not as detailed as the current year. So we can look like, you know, in October we're going on this trip. This is how much we have left for like vacation money. Do we want to go somewhere else? Last month, you know, you have to get stuff done on your car. So like just planning for those things and looking at, did we put enough money away? Did we put enough money into retirement? Did we save? Is there something that we can invest in right now? Is there, like, what opportunities are there that we can get involved in? I feel like if you're not looking at that constantly, you might miss something.
Yeah.
Even, like, just putting how much we will spend going to Germany, for example, is like a reminder. Okay, so I have this much budgeted for airfare, this much for Airbnb, this much for car. Yeah. And I have all these categories, and then we can go on the trip without like feeling, I don't think a lot of people feel this way, but I feel out of control if there's not like an idea of how much we're going to spend, because we might go and we might end up spending $50,000 or $10,000. Like, I have to know.
But I think putting a number on it kind of holds you accountable a little. Like, I only have this much budgeted. Like, maybe I shouldn't spend this, you know?
But the
keeps
numbers...
you from buying unnecessary stuff sometimes, or spending unnecessary money.
Yeah. However, when we go on vacations, I feel like I really buffer each category because I don't want us... Like, we work hard to have a good time on vacation and have a good time in general. Yeah. So I've struggled for a long time with, like, being really tight with money and not, like, wanting to let anything go.
Oh, I know.
That I had to switch my mindset to... My mom always says, you can't die with your money. No. So I tried to remember that and, like, what is it doing in the bank account or sitting in investments? Like, I want to make memories and live a happy life and do fun stuff with our family and our friends while we can. So it's just a good balance. Like I have a budget. I feel good about it. I built it in. And if we come back with $1,000 worth of German groceries, I planned for it.
We're going to have a whole nother suitcase
if we
full?
The tickets I booked, we get 2 suitcases free per
God.
person. That's 10 suitcases.
Jesus.
That's why it's important that you should look at these. You would know how much stuff I plan on bringing back if you saw the numbers in the budget for the buffer.
I believe
But because you don't look, you don't know how many suitcases you have to take.
Every time somebody goes to Germany, Vanessa will hound them to like bring you back.
I don't hound them. They offer.
After she asks, or hint, every like third or fourth text. Like, oh, you're like the kids. Like, oh man, I really love this soup. That was my favorite soup that I grew up on. Like, do you want me to bring you back some? Well, since you're there.
Listen.
So funny.
It is what it is.
Just don't mark it fragile, because then they're just gonna toss your shit. Yeah. We were at the airport, and somebody had stuck like 50 fragile stickers all over this box, and we were standing right at the little exiting luggage ramp, and they just chucked this dang thing. But
yeah.
So we're bringing 2 extra bags, or just one?
I haven't decided.
Or are you gonna buy one there with your buffer?
That's a good idea. I have a German suitcase. But anyway, so budget and all that, I think you should reevaluate it. You should always look at it. And, for long term, even though I know you don't like talking about it and planning for it as much, like we have certain goals for retirement, certain goals for our business, all that. And just like doing a quick check to make sure that we're like still on track for that is important, because you don't want to wake up one day when you're like 60 and be like, oh, I forgot to plan for this. So,
but be free and spend your money. We were super tight in the beginning, and it worked for us for a little bit, but after a while, we just kind of like, we're saving up for what, like, what's the point of having some money in the bank if you can't spend it a little? And so we've got a lot better, but budgeting, I think, just holds you accountable, because most people don't budget and they have like financial problems, and they think that they're just going to go away, but they just get worse. Yeah. So find out what you have, look at all your financials, and plan accordingly from there. Yeah, we have another episode on that. Yeah. Called, what is it? Something about increasing your net worth. And then another one. So I think the reason, this is my last note that I'll say about the budgeting topic. The reason that like I'm not as tight with it anymore is when I made the plan, or we made the plan for like the future, we broke it down to like, what do we need to do now? And that means, making this much money, saving this much, investing this much, like having percentages. And so I feel like if at a baseline we're maintaining that or meeting that, then anything extra we can spend or make memories with or go on vacations with. So I feel like I could sleep at night knowing that like we did everything we should, all our investments are in place, everything's good to go, and now we can enjoy the rest. Or, like if there's an opportunity and we can invest some more. So I think that's important. And then the last thing that we reevaluate every quarter and every month on a smaller scale is everything to do with business. So what's working, what's not working, marketing, client relations, prospecting, events coming up, holidays coming up, birthdays. I look at every day. Whose birthday is it? Who has a house anniversary? I have it in a note that I check every day, like with dates on it. And I think reevaluating that is just as important as any, because it's kind of the feeder, right? Like we work to live, we don't live to work. So, but our business, we've been very blessed and are just
fortunate that it is where it is now. It wasn't always this way, but it feeds everything. So like it's like the baseline for a lot of things. You know, if the kids are sick and we need to see a specialist that doesn't take our insurance, we can go to that because the business has been successful. So that's like our baseline, kind of like the foundation.
We never get too comfortable with it. Like, we're always looking at it, reevaluating it, see how we can improve it, see what's working, see what's not.
Yeah.
And that's why we look at it so much. So if you do have a business and you run your own business, just keep reevaluating it. Don't get too comfortable because it can all stop.
Yeah.
But just keep grinding, keep being hungry.
Yeah. So I think that'll wrap it up. Yep. We have another episode if you want to know more like what we do behind the scenes in our business, like planning wise, that you can watch or listen to. But for the purposes of this episode, we're going to dip out and you can do your little spiel at the end.
We appreciate y'all watching, however you're getting our content, listening, watching. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one.